Hi, I'm Joanna Figueroa, and this is Fig Tree and Company. And today I'm going to do a demo on our brand new little zippered pouches. It's called Everyday Zipz, and there's 3 different sizes in them. The one I'm going to show how to do is the middle, kind of the standard size. And then there's also a little mini, and then there's a long skinny one for like pencils or scissors. And this is what the pattern looks like. It's one of our little mini patterns, our threads. And this one's a bigger one because there's so many fun little diagrams in there on how to do all of this. Hope you guys can hear me over the roar of market. So basically, the first thing I wanted to show you is these are all the pieces that you would need. You cut the same amount of pieces for the front as for the back. And you've got basically what is going to be the lining of your pocket, and then the front, and you've got some kind of a canvas or a linen, maybe like a twill that you can use for the bag itself, just anything that's a little bit heavier than the standard cotton. And so you've got the pieces that you're going to use for that, and your canvas pieces, and then a piece of lining. And that's basically all the pieces that you need, and a zipper, of course. I use the acrylic zippers because I sew right through them. Let me move that off the board. And so the very first thing you're going to do is, people are so afraid of zippers. And I was too. I started off as a quilter and not as a seamstress. And zippers just scared the bejeebies out of me until someone showed me the easiest zipper method ever. And so in this one, what you do is, so I've used a much longer zipper than what I need so that I have plenty of room to work with. And you basically, you take a piece of whatever is going to be your outside little accent piece on this bag, and you put a square of it on the side, on the end of your zipper, and at the same time, you put a piece of your lining on the back side. And this is right sides together to the zipper, and this one is right sides to the zipper, even you can't tell, but it is. And you basically pin it together, and you're gonna sew them at the same time. So you're going to sew straight across those 2 fabrics at the same time. And what it looks like already done is the same thing over here. You've just sewn it, and then you're basically going to flip it open. You're giving your zipper a finished edge so that you can just basically set it into anything. So then you don't have to worry about what's going to happen on the ends, on the sides. It takes all that away. So in this pattern, you have to, there's a certain measurement that you measure from here to here, and it's different in each bag. But basically, once you have that measurement, that's where you put your fabric, you sew it on, and you flip it out. Okay, that's kind of the first step. And so then the second piece of this process is, you're basically going to do the same thing on the side. So where these are the pieces that we've already sewn in that I just showed you. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to sew in a piece of your accent at the same time that you sew in a piece of your lining. And you're just going to line it up along the zipper right here. So if you have a zipper foot, you can put it in. The only thing that the benefit of having the zipper foot is it allows you to sew closer to the zipper. We did all of these without a zipper foot so that we could show our customers that you can do it without a zipper foot. It will be, so this is as close as I could get here on this one without a zipper foot, and that's fine. I didn't care that the zipper is showing. This one, for example, here is much closer. Okay, I don't know how we got it that close without a zipper foot. We rode up on that zipper, but it's definitely possible. So you just basically pin it in like crazy all the way across, and you sew it at the same time, the front and the back. And you start at one end. And the one thing that, one of the tricks is you want to make sure is that your zipper head is in the middle when you start. And when you kind of get halfway through, you pull your zipper closed, and then you just keep sewing because you can't sew past the zipper. So you kind of have to move it out of your way as you go. And with a zipper foot, I will be honest and tell you I've never used a zipper foot, but I think with the zipper foot you might not have to move the zipper maybe. So you do that on one side, and then you do the exact same thing on the other side. Your accent piece on top and your lining on the back. So when you're done, you basically open that up, and then you add these canvas pieces to the sides after you're done with that portion. You have kind of a complete front. So this is your little inset, which is this little part on the bag, your zipper, and the 2 parts of the canvas, and the whole back is already finished exactly the same because you've sewn them at exactly the same time. So the last step that you want to do on this one before you basically construct the bag is you want to get another piece of lining, and you put it on the back of this. It's exactly the same size, and you just want to do like a little stay stitch all the way around so that you have a fully enclosed bag. A fully enclosed zipper. So when you open it later on, what peeks through is that little cute piece of whatever you decide to use in there. Now I'll show you that on this bag, I forgot to do that. So if you forget to put that little piece of lining, I stuck that in there as a cheater. But so what would happen if you forgot to put it in there is you would see the back side of the inside of the bag, which is not the worst case thing in the world, but it's much nicer to be able to see that little piece. So don't forget that little piece. So you've got basically an enclosed pocket piece. I'm gonna move that over. And what you do next is basically construct the bag in the most kind of, I love this method of putting in a zipper. So it's very similar to what I just said. You have your zipper, which is now we're gonna do this top one. You put down a piece of your lining for the bag this time. You put the zipper head up, and you put the canvas or whatever you're using for the body on the top. You pin all the way across. You know, it shows it in our diagram in the pattern, I think in here somewhere. I think I put like 20 pins in there in the diagram. Just to be clear, lots of pins is better. So you pin it all the way, and you sew it all the way down again as close as you can. And you take all those pins out. And I've already sewn this one to show you. And then that basically opens up like this. And you've got the lining on one side and the canvas on the other side. And your next step, this is my favorite little, so you take this as a loop and you basically just attach it to the other side of your zipper, and you take this as a loop and you attach this to the other side of the zipper. And you sew this all shut on the other side at the same time. So you then have, when you're done, a loop of canvas, if I can open that, a loop on canvas on one side and a loop on this side. What happens when you've done that, as long as you keep your zipper somewhere in the middle, let me find that zipper head and open it. You make sure that that's in the middle, and you literally take this loop and you shove it all the way out so that it encloses your canvas bag completely. And you have now basically a bag that you sew up on this side, you sew up on this side, you cut off this extra zipper because you don't need it anymore, and you've already done it all in, you've already sewn it all in there. And then all that's left to make is the bottom. So you have the inside of your bag that's fully lined. You haven't had to do anything separate. You basically have sewn it, and I zigzagged it, you know, or put a finishing stitch on there, and then basically just did the kind of the classic bottom where you just open it up, you sew the corner, you open it up, and you sew the corner. And that is basically the entire bag is done with that little, you know, loop and flip. The one thing I forgot to show you really quick is before you put in this lower piece of the canvas, we decided to use one of our little mini charms, and this is with our new collection, Maribel, that we made little prairie points. So we took these and we cut them down to 2 inches. And you know how you make a prairie point, where you basically just take the square and you fold it in half, and then you fold it in half again to make a prairie point. And then we just lined them up, leaving a 1/2 inch on each side. And then that is basically what got put onto that piece there at the front. So that's the part that went into the process of the bag. And you could do it without those prairie points for a more simple bag, but we thought they were a cute little embellishment. So those are kind of the 2 tricks of putting the little fabrics on the sides of the zipper to inset it, and then basically to sew the back and front at the same time to loop it through, and you have the whole bag. And that pattern again is called Everyday Zipz, and hope you enjoyed that. Thanks.